The Integration Disintegration show is really about 7 components of the creative landscape. It starts with mentorship, flow, harvest, and ferment. And from that I've taken my own flow with 12 moments, 12 individual teapots that really are snapshots of how I felt at the particular time that I was making the forms. And I really feel that the teapot is the perfect canon to accentuate those feelings, getting the nuances of not only how something goes together, but how all of those things resound to make one component to part of your journey as a maker. And then it transcends into the infinity bowls, where it starts with something very, very small, and over a period of years, that passion and that growth and that understanding of how we accelerate and how we grow as people really starts to speak in volumes, to the point where you have something that starts to overwhelm yourself. And then I'm left with the Integration Disintegration Capsacis that really propel me into a different moment, from coming from an individualistic society, moving to a collectivist society in Japan, and understanding each of those components form a whole. Keo and Deanne, and certainly Bruce, have shown me that it takes that 10,000 hours in order to start to really hone into and master your craft. And the teacup saucy, or the teacup form on its own, really kind of mimicked individual notes in a score of music. And then seeing them come from something very strict in form, and then starting to feel the full gravity of placement, they really start to ripple and change and undulate with their surroundings. So it really had strong resonation for me. And then we moved to play, which is a marriage of rapid prototyping, meeting classical clay process. And I CT scanned a 5,000-year-old Jomon Yaki vessel from a private collection in Burlington, Ontario. And with the help of Siemens Canada and the Trillium Health Sciences and Canada Arts Council, we were able to CT scan that 5,000-year-old object and then 3D print it. Well, I realized that there was something really quite fascinating about taking a clay object and plasticizing it, and along with kind of in a Trojan warhorse, Trojan horse sort of feel, I decided that it would be kind of humorous to have clay kind of thumb its nose at plastics and take a 3D printed plastic object and end with classical clay process. So that form was, that plastic positive form was used to create a series of plaster molds. And excelling that, I decided to make it in a larger 4.5-foot form that I then broke up into components with the help of Clint Neufeld and engaging, understanding what goes into making plaster molds. Made 16 components in plaster molds in order to make a series of 3 slip cast Jomon-yaki pieces that I title Jomon Squeeze Toys. And then finally, just sort of basking in that whole element of understanding that there is a chameleon effect of clay, and realizing that we do have a semblance of what it takes to, in order to facilitate an individual object and bring it to fruition. I decided that working on an iconic form that transcends culture and history with the basket, to literally take that form and get it to mimic yellow pollen, red pleather, candy, and resonating just simply with something very simple as primary colors.